Can you tell us a little bit about like what you were diagnosed with and how old were you and what was that like?
Yeah, so it came about with a strange turn of events. So I was 7 years old and we went to Disney World and I had a great time there.
Yep.
And somehow I came away from Disney World despite not swimming anywhere with Giardia,
Oh,
which caused the doctors to give me, a closer examination on, anything that might be wrong. And they eventually diagnosed me with originally IBD,
yeah.
which, I really didn't understand what it meant at the time, being a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
My parents were fairly concerned, and they moved heaven and earth to try and find a solution to keep me healthy. And they eventually landed on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet.
Hmm.
And that kept me stable for a long time until I had a massive flare, and the IBD eventually turned into full-on Crohn's disease, and the Crohn's disease then eventually turned on into Crohn's colitis. And everything just kept spiraling downhill until I was able to find something that brought me back to where I'm at now. So yeah, it's been a rough nearly 12 years, but at this point I can't say the hardship has been intense, but I think I came out of it with a better perspective. The symptoms became, more and more severe. I did have the lucky case of never having really experienced any real pain as a result of my disease, but you could definitely see the results. I was very skinny, very short. I never had any energy. I reached a peak of 90 pounds for 4 years straight. So from the start of middle school to middle of high school, I bounced between 80 and 90 pounds, which when I should have been at like around 120, like my peers were.
And I know that must have been super hard. And if you're okay sharing that, what was it like going through high school? Everyone's starting to like girls and people are getting cool and they're playing football and everyone's lifting weights now. And you're 90 pounds, 5'5".
It was a very interesting time, and it was tough to deal with. Going around as a 16-year-old, everyone thinking you're 12.
Yeah.
And it was tough not being as developed as everyone else and not being able to go out and experience as many things, and having to deal with the additional struggle of not only being underdeveloped but also having to go to the bathroom 20 to 30 times a day.
Yeah.
And it takes a toll. It really does. But at that point, it had been nearly 10 years of living with this disease, and at that point I just kind of gave up and accepted it. Like, this is my life now, this is who I am, and there's not much I can do to change that. And that led in a lot of things that I regret, but that's what ended up happening, because I really didn't see another alternative.
Yeah. How long ago now did you have your colon removed?
So I'm in my senior year of high school, and this was the year that COVID kind of wiped out all of education, and I'm just, floating along with my disease and being content with it. But during that year specifically, the year of 2020, heading towards December, everyone noticed a significant downturn in my health.
Yeah.
And that led us to, go see the doctors again, who had failed us many times before with many different drugs that had done nothing and in fact made my health worse. And they were like, you're in a pretty bad state. We need to look deeper into this. And as a result, they found high levels of dysplasia, which are precancerous cells, and that terrified them. The sheer number they found, and they did 2 colonoscopies back to back just to make sure, because of how much there was. And all the doctors who operated me, they're like, I've never seen a colon this bad in my life.
So, okay, we started working together, and you went through all that. You had the surgery, and how's the recovery been?
So I couldn't have asked for better. I will say the first week and a half after the surgery was fairly brutal, but I was able to, within a month of having surgery completed, I was already out playing sports with my friends, which I had been physically unable to do for 2 years prior. So within a month, I was already doing more than I could ever hope for, and that was still with a long recovery ahead of me.
Yes.
And so after the surgery, my bowel, the amount of times I had to use the restroom spiked even higher, and so calming that down was a serious feat. Definitely a serious feat, and through the careful guidance from you and my adequate listening has led me into a much better state, and everyone around me was shocked how fast I was recovering.
So
it was insane.
You actually got a little worse after the surgery. We started working together. We put a plan together, and you turned around like that, and
right.
You started going, whoa. And so how many bowel movements during the day are you usually having?
So at this point, I'm having 4 to 5, which is down from 20 to 30.
Which is normal for someone without a colon, 4 to 5. And you're able to sleep through the night 7 to 9 hours without waking up.
Correct.
And how much do you weigh now?
And right now, I am at a very comfortable 155 pounds.
All right, congratulations. Wait, 115, what is that, 40 pounds?
Yeah.
40 pounds, and it's been 7 months, 8 months?
Yeah, right around there. So
we gained about 30 pounds in what, 2 months?
Yes.
It was pretty amazing.
It's been a rapid recovery.
And have you been able to eat a broad food? Because you were on this really restrictive diet for a long time to get rid of some of that inflammation.
It's been truly relieving, because the strictness of the diets I was used to, I would get sick of the 4 foods I would only be able to eat. Yeah. And as a result, I would not be eating as much as I could, because I was just so sick of putting the same thing in my mouth every day.
And you were SCD before, right? You were following the SCD, very strict SCD diet.
Yes.
Yeah,
SCD
and now
diet.
You're not following SCD, but you're better than ever.
Right. And the thing is, instead of, seeing something that's healthy for me,
yeah,
and, feeling disgusted toward it, if I see something healthy, my mouth starts to water, because I'm like, that looks so good. That looks so good.
Wow, so you shifted and now you're interested in healthy food. And so it's making you happy and healthy.
Correct.
Are you on a diet?
No.
Do you have freedom to go travel with your friends and go out and live your life?
Yes, without stress.
Do you worry about if there's a bathroom where you're going?
No.
Are you able to have snacks? Have you had any celebration meals, eating things that are just not good for you?
Yeah, and I have had them, and I've felt good doing it. And but I've realized that, eating that 24/7 isn't necessarily the best thing, but it's important to be able to, have those things, and instead of like looking at those things with, a look of desire, just look at those things as, a look of, celebration. What you've done uniquely that I haven't really experienced before was explain the intricacies of each item or supplement that I was taking. And before, I would just stuff a handful of pills in my mouth because someone told me to.
Yeah.
And now I understand the importance of each pill, and like how to self-correct if like, I'm having a certain side effect, or I'm having, a certain flare up in this area. Well, maybe I need to be taking more or less of this. And understanding the intricacies of that is helped me improve my understanding of my own health a lot more.
If you had any advice for parents out there working with their kids who are 7 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, what would be your advice to those parents? And and the same question to the kid who's going through what you've gone through, what would be a piece of advice you'd say to them on now that you're here?
Yeah, what I'd say to the parents is it is going to be a little difficult to get through, this next stage of your life. But unlike what my parents did in, trying to do everything on their own, trying to figure out everything there are resources out there to help you. One of them, namely Dane. There's several other resources out there, especially with, the increased prevalence of Crohn's and colitis and other related diseases. And, that says something about, how useful the resources are. And I definitely say that take them to your advantage. And also don't just listen to, one resource, because everyone's body is different, and what may have worked for, one person may not work for every person. And so having an adaptive protocol is critically important, as, I've tried dozens of things. Not many of them works very well. And so it is without a doubt, it is a difficult responsibility, but undoubtedly it will be rewarding in the end once a successful solution has been found. Additionally, if you're young and you've just been recently diagnosed, my advice to you is, while the road may seem scary, it gets easier with time. Don't be disheartened. I know you will go through many stages of wondering, is this going to work? Am I going to get better? But keeping in mind, the things that you value most, and those things will get you through. I went through fairly dark times myself, and the main thing that got me through, those times was just focusing on the fact, like, I can get better and I will get better. And that is something that I'm going to strive towards, however hard the road may be. And so I'd say, take advantage of the things that you have around you, and take advantage of, the blessing in disguise, I guess, because you will go through a unique trial that no one else really will understand, and that will build your character into something that everyone will desire to have. And so in that effect, it's something to be grateful and also, for, because it's given you something unique, a unique challenge to help you persevere through life.